Section 1. Uptober Fever. A new gold rush? October 2025 is a month for the history books. Bitcoin is the talk of the town again. Everyone is watching its price go up and up. This special month has a nickname, Uptober. It feels like a giant party that everyone is invited to. The price of one Bitcoin has soared past $125,000. This is a new record. It makes people feel excited and full of hope. It seems like a new gold rush is happening right now. News channels talk about it every night. Your friends and family might be talking about it too. The feeling in the air is one of pure excitement. The world is watching. No one can look away from the incredible numbers flashing on their screens. Section 2. The good. Bitcoin's big moment. Many good things are happening for Bitcoin right now. New record price, over $125,000. That price shows many people believe in Bitcoin's value. It is not just a small group of fans anymore. Mainstream investors are buying it. Everyday people are buying it. This growing demand pushes the price to new heights. It signals a major shift in how the world sees digital money. Bitcoin is graduating from a niche interest to a major global asset. Even governments are getting involved in a big way. The United States government, for example, now holds a lot of Bitcoin. It has seized these digital coins from criminals over the years. By holding them, instead of selling immediately, it sends a powerful message. Big banks are also joining the party. Institutions that once called Bitcoin a fraud are now buying it for themselves and for their wealthy clients. Section 3. The bad, shadows in the spotlight. While the good news is exciting, there are bad sides to consider. One major issue is how governments get their Bitcoin. Much of the US government's holdings, for instance, come from seizing it from people. They took the Bitcoin during criminal investigations. So, while government holdings look like adoption, they also demonstrate the power to seize digital assets. That creates a complicated situation. The tool meant to be outside government control is now being collected by governments themselves. That fact adds a layer of caution and makes some people uneasy. Another problem is fairness. Tax-free benefits exist in the UAE. Tax-free benefits exist in Germany, but they are not for everyone. Usually only wealthy people can relocate to use those rules. An ordinary person in the United States, an ordinary person in the United Kingdom, still has to pay taxes on Bitcoin gains. That creates clear inequality. The rich keep more, the average person gives a share to government. Bitcoin has risen very fast in a short time. Rapid rises can cause overheating. Everyone gets swept up and rushes to buy. This is herd optimism. Beneath the surface of the good and the bad, there are some ugly truths. The story of Bitcoin's success right now seems a little too perfect. When everyone agrees something is a sure bet, that's a major red flag. Big banks, governments, everyday people. This creates a feeling that there's no risk left, but that's when risk is highest. The perfect story can blind people to dangers hiding in plain sight. It makes them complacent and less likely to prepare for a downturn. One of the ugliest parts, governments holding Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created so governments could not control or seize it. Yet in 2025, governments are becoming major holders. Often they get Bitcoin by seizing it from citizens. No asset is truly safe from powerful authorities. This undermines a core principle of Bitcoin's revolution. The idea of governments owning Bitcoin is filled with a deep and unsettling irony. Bitcoin was born from a desire to escape the control of central banks and governments. Its creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, envisioned a currency for the people, one that could not be printed at will or taken away without your private keys. It was designed to be a shield against the very institutions that now seem to be embracing it. When we see a government like the United States holding a large stash of Bitcoin, it feels like a plot twist in the story. This accumulation of Bitcoin by governments often comes from a place of power, not partnership. Their decisions about whether to hold or sell their Bitcoin can have a huge impact on its price. Imagine if a government announced it was going to sell off its entire Bitcoin reserve. This news alone could cause widespread panic and a market crash. The presence of these large, state-controlled wallets introduces a new central point of failure, the very thing Bitcoin was designed to avoid. No story about Bitcoin's modern journey is complete without looking closely at El Salvador. In 2021, this small Central American nation took a historic leap. It became the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, placing it on equal footing with the US dollar. This was a bold and controversial move. President Nayib Bukele hoped that Bitcoin would lower the cost of sending money home for citizens working abroad, attract foreign investment, provide banking services to the large portion of the population without a traditional bank account. He also announced plans for Bitcoin City, a new metropolis funded by Bitcoin bonds and powered by geothermal energy from a volcano. The vision was powerful, promising a bright future built on the foundation of digital currency. However, this grand experiment carries enormous risks. By tying its national treasury to such a volatile asset, El Salvador has exposed its entire economy to Bitcoin's wild price swings. International financial organizations like the IMF have repeatedly warned El Salvador about the dangers of its Bitcoin strategy. During a boom like the one we see today, the gamble looks like it might be paying off. But this only highlights the ugly side of the bet. If the market turns and a crash follows this euphoric peak, the consequences for El Salvador could be devastating. The country's financial stability could be shattered, hurting the very citizens the policy was meant to help. It is a tightrope walk between a revolutionary future and a potential economic disaster, with no safety net below. We are now standing at a critical moment in Bitcoin's history. The Uptober mania of 2025 has pushed it to incredible new heights, but the future is far from certain. Two very different paths could lie ahead. One path leads to Bitcoin becoming a permanent and stable part of the global financial system. In this future, its price might settle down, and it would be treated like digital gold, held by individuals, held by companies, held by governments. Banks would fully integrate it. It becomes a normal part of a diversified investment portfolio. The other path is much darker. On this road, the current excitement is revealed to be another classic speculative bubble. The euphoria would eventually fade, and a trigger, perhaps a large holder selling their coins or a negative government action, would cause panic. The price would crash dramatically, falling just as fast as it rose. Many first-time investors who bought in near the top would lose huge amounts of money. Confidence in the entire cryptocurrency market would be shattered, and it could take years for it to recover, if it ever does. The uncertainty remains the only certainty. For an ordinary person watching all of this from the sidelines, the most important takeaway is to be careful. Do not invest more than you are willing to lose. The future of Bitcoin is a giant question mark, and it is wise to approach it with a healthy dose of caution instead of getting swept away by the Uptober euphoria.